If our goal is to make Jeff look younger, one of these images does almost everything right, and the other one does almost everything wrong. Now, before anyone gets upset, neither one of these images has been retouched, and neither one of them is bad. There are absolutely situations where I would choose either one of them. In fact, I like them both. But if the assignment was to simply make Jeff look younger, then one of these images has a pretty clear advantage. Why? Because it comes down to 3 lighting decisions that every photographer makes every single day, whether they realize it or not. And in today's video, I'm going to show you what those 3 decisions are and how they affect the appearance of your subject regardless of their gender, and why the right answer isn't always the same thing. By the end of this video, you'll have a pretty good understanding of what these 3 levers are, when to pull them, and why. Let's start with the first lever, and that's the size of your light source. You've probably heard photographers say that the larger the light source is relative to the subject, the softer the light will be. I like to simply say that the bigger the light looks to your subject, the softer the light will be. Also, the smaller it looks to them, the harder it will be. Or if you want the shorthand version, size equals softness. Here are 2 portraits of Jeff. In the first image, I'm using a relatively small source, a 7-inch or 18-centimeter reflector that's farther away. In the other image, I'm using a much larger source, a 150-centimeter octabox that's closer to him. The difference is pretty dramatic. The larger source creates much smoother transitions between the highlights and the shadows, the skin looks softer, and the wrinkles are less noticeable. The overall portrait just feels younger. Now compare that to the image made with the smaller source. The transitions are more abrupt, the texture in the skin stands out more, the wrinkles are more apparent. If you want a more technical example, here's the exact same principle demonstrated with Josh. In this test, I photographed him using 2 completely different modifiers. One is an 18-centimeter reflector and the other is a 190-centimeter octabox. Both modifiers were positioned the same distance away from the subject, so what you're really looking at here is what happens when we dramatically change the apparent size of the source. With the reflector, the shadow transitions are much more abrupt. The overall image has more contrast and depth. With the octabox, the transitions between the midtones gently transition to shadows. The skin feels smoother, and the light is more forgiving. And before you rush to the comments, yes, a large source far away can look just as hard as a small source close up. What really matters is how big it looks to the model. That's why I keep saying the apparent size. Now, size isn't the only thing affecting how someone appears in a photo. The second lever that we can pull is the angle of incidence, and this controls texture. Let me show you what I mean. If we compare these 2 photos of Jeff, you'll notice that the wrinkles on his forehead are more pronounced in the first image when compared to the second image, which is lit more from the front. In that first image, you'll see that the texture in his skin, his hair, and even his beard stands out more too. What's happening is that the light is striking his face from a steep angle, and when that happens, every wrinkle, every pore, every crease, and every bit of texture starts to cast a shadow, and texture is really just tiny shadows. So when the light comes more from the side, those shadows become longer and more visible. And when the light comes more from the front, those shadows are going to be shorter and a lot less noticeable. If our goal is to make Jeff look younger, then the light in the first image probably isn't helping very much. But I want you to remember this idea because later in the video, I'm going to show you a subject where creating more texture is the right thing to do. Before we get there though, we need to talk about the third lever, and that's fill. If we compare these 2 photos of Jeff, the lighting pattern is very similar, but in the second image, I've added fill from below, and in the first image, I haven't. The version with the fill immediately appears smoother. But why? Because the fill is brightening the shadows. And in order for wrinkles to appear, we need both a highlight side and a shadow side. If we reduce the shadows, we'll reduce the wrinkles. Nothing about Jeff changed. I didn't retouch the image. I didn't use Photoshop. All I did was control how dark the shadows became. In fact, right now, I have a fill light coming from right below the camera up towards my face, hopefully making me look a little bit younger. If this is the kind of thing you want to understand at a deeper level, this is exactly what we work through in my in-person workshops. We don't just copy lighting diagrams, we set up lights, look at the results, and make adjustments and talk through why those changes matter. So if you want hands-on help learning how to create more intentional portraits, go to johngress.com/workshops and check out these upcoming dates. I cover the foundations of portrait photography, intermediate and advanced skills, so no matter what you want to learn, there is a workshop to help you on your journey. Now at this point, it probably sounds like I'm telling you that texture is bad and that every portrait should be made with a giant softbox with lots of fill coming from below. But that's not true at all. In fact, sometimes we want the exact opposite. Let's look at Jaime in this image. He's lit from the front with a 120 centimeter softbox. The transitions are soft, the shadows are subtle. Now compare that to this image lit with a 30 by 100 centimeter softbox overhead. The shadows are deeper, the light is more directional, and his physique appears stronger and more defined. The same principles that were working against us when we were photographing Jeff are now working for Jaime. And that's really the lesson here. There's no universally flattering lighting setup. If I'm photographing an older executive, regardless of their gender, and I want them to appear approachable, confident, and youthful, I'm probably going to use a larger light source with loop lighting from the front and then fill them from below. All of the examples in this video happen to be men because these are the images that I have permission to share with you today that best fit these concepts. Jeff is probably the oldest model that I've worked with, but these principles apply equally to all people, both men and women. If I was photographing a female fitness model, I'd still be using directional light with less fill and stronger shadows to define and emphasize muscle tone. The subject may change, but the principles stay the same. So let's go back to the opening images one last time. If my goal is to make Jeff look younger, I'm choosing this image on the right every single time. But that doesn't mean that the other image is wrong. In fact, I think it looks pretty cool. It has more character and drama. The mistake photographers make is assuming that there is a single lighting setup that best fits everyone, but I think we proved that isn't true in this video. Once you understand what each of these things does, the question stops being, what's the best lighting setup? Instead, the question becomes, what is the story that I'm trying to tell about this person, and what is the best setup for them? Because the right lighting isn't determined by the modifier you're using or the position it's in, it's determined by the subject standing in front of your camera. So pull the levers to get the results that you're looking for. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And while you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and sign up for the bell. And if you want to take your learning even further, click on this video over here where I explain how far away your light should be because distance changes coverage, specularity, background brightness, and a lot more. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon.